go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put 2 dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Samir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coon. The white man to go nuts if he can't shoot. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
Queen.
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Ahmadiyyah.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, even to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They're trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations. I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
I'm getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation.
Queen.
Touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations. America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all in Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get mad. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat.
This is the sound of Eric
It's a cut on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans, and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why they hate hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X to my jeans and I got...
This is the sound of Emmett.
All right, hello everyone. Thanks for tuning in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your daily vitamin. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. All right, and also don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Dr_Aide_Shakur, TikTok at Dr. Aide Shakur, and Twitter at DGoddess27. All right. Let's get ready to get into it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Now, before we get started, let's have a word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Right, so that have been said, you can purchase your 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts, and you can also find it on Walmart.com. All right, let's see who is up in here. All right, shout out to Desmond gifting us a channel membership. Thank you, beloved. Peace, love, and blessings. Hello, Buckhorse DC, Danny, We the People, Anita Harrell. Love her is in the house. 504 Nola, Priscilla. All right, Andrea, I see you. Luna Walker, Reggie is here. All right, so let's get into it. Mr. Mystical Black Realms. Okay, Bithia is here. Mr. Elevation. All right, Nessie X. Jamie's in the house. April. Okay, shout out to all of the loyal royals and everyone tuned into the Queen. Let's get this party started. I see you all. Hell no. Howard, Dragon Lily, Stephanie, Jeff ATL. Okay, so that all been said. Did y'all know? I'm sure y'all know by now that Kabami did an interview with 60 Minutes. Where is support the arts? Kabami did an interview with 60 Minutes and she was just, seems like she was caught off guard. All right, and so let's talk about it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. I see you, Khalid Helene. Now, with that all being said, uh, also, Kamala was talking somewhere, and her teleprompter seemed to have gone out for a minute. And they said that she was humiliated and went on to spew word salad. Okay, this is what they say. So let's get into it. I'm going to share the footage. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Because one thing I never do is miss an opportunity to point out Kabami's word salad. Okay, it is absolutely epic. Now, with that all been said, let's get it started. I'm going to share my screen. Love her said, y'all making it rain with these. Hold on, y'all making it rain with these memberships. Gratitude. I know, right? I appreciate it. Reggie said she can't freelance and recover. She's toast. Apparently not, beloved. Okay. But what do I know? Hey, support the arts, beloved. And I'm here to go in on your girl. Now, let me put an overlay on this real quick.
Are in crisis. Their great hope, Kamala Harris, is falling apart just weeks out from the election, showcasing more word salads every time she's forced to speak without a script. And it's not only Kamala Harris who is struggling. Her predecessor and current US President Joe Biden is hanging on by a thread, as he is largely MIA and struggles to get through a single press briefing. VP pick Tim Walz is also getting blasted every time he opens his mouth. And whilst the Democrats are spiraling, Donald Trump is thriving. The former president made a statement by returning to the scene of his first assassination attempt, looking and sounding stronger than ever. Sky News All-Stars James Morrow and Rita Panahi take a look at Kamala Harris and Tim Walz's worrying word salads, Joe Biden's continued decline, and Donald Trump's resurgence. The new wave of hope for the Democrats is fading with every new interview and appearance. Kamala Harris simply cannot function without a script, reveals Sky News All-Star Rita Panahi.
And it's been rough for Kamala too, particularly yesterday when it appeared that her teleprompter malfunctioned for just a few seconds and, wowie, she did not handle it well.
Today we got 32 days until the election. So 32 days. 32 days. Okay, we got some business to do. All right. 32 days. And we know we will do it.
Oh, she's so uniquely hopeless.
And again, this fresh interview shows Kamala Harris doesn't have a clue about current events in the Middle East.
Well, Bill, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region.
And even with a working teleprompter, Kamala Harris struggled to get through a statement after Iran's attack on Israel, reveals Sky News All-Star Erin Molan.
Destroyed. Kamala Harris this week was forced to fill in for Joe after Iran's attack, and boy, did she seem strained.
We are still assessing the impact, but initial indications are that Israel, with our assistance, was able to defeat this attack. Our joint defenses have been effective, and this operation and successful cooperation saved many innocent lives.
It reminds me of a child being forced to apologise to their sibling. Like they couldn't even trust her to go off script. There was not one part of that felt genuine or authentic.
And Erin Molan doubled down, blasting the presidential nominee for her lackluster Jewish New Year message.
And how about her Jewish New Year's message? We're sending warm wishes to all those celebrating Rosh Hashanah. After such a difficult year, may this new one bring you hope for the future. Difficult. Now that's the understatement of the century.
Kamala Harris's unravelling isn't helped by the fact that her VP pick isn't much better. Tim Walz was obliterated by J.D. Vance during the vice presidential debate last week and has since gone on to struggle in interviews when fact-checked.
The vice president has made it clear that she has policies that make a difference. Her border policies are the most strongest, the fairest we've seen. It's
but now, Governor, you know, a lot of people, including your own party, would not join that statement. There are millions of people who have come here over the last few years that, you know, they see this as an open policies.
Well, simply, we have a policy. Donald Trump sees it as a political. Look, James Langford in Oklahoma, the Border Patrol agents, the Wall Street Journal, the Chamber of Commerce, all said pass this legislation. You have to have Congress to authorize 1,500 new border agents. You have to have Congress to authorize DOJ to speed adjudications on these asylum claims. Those are things that would actually work. Donald Trump told us for 4 years he would deal with this. He didn't. He didn't build his wall, 2%. Mexico didn't pay for it. This is a real bill that has bipartisan support. It has the experts on board, and it starts to tackle these issues. And we don't have to resort to demonizing people. We don't have to resort to making up or crafting stories, as Senator Vance said he did. Those things were not happening in Springfield, but it doesn't mean that we can't pass a piece of legislation to strengthen our border. That's what Kamala Harris is talking about.
Well,
She's talking
Governor,
about solving the problem.
That piece of legislation does include the wall that you guys have been so, you've disparaged that. I mean, the vice president has as well. So I don't know if she really intends to move forward with that. But it was negotiated by 3 or 4 senators, and many Republicans came out against it long before President Trump indicated he didn't like it either.
And to top off the Democrat demise, the current US President Joe Biden is looking and sounding worse than ever. He's largely MIA, and when he does make an appearance, he still manages to make a fool of himself, reveals Sky News All-Star James Morrow.
Little more than 24 hours ago, Joe Biden did something he had never done before over the entire course of his presidency. He showed up in the White House press briefing room to talk to the media. And guess what he did once he got there? He comprehensively threw Kamala Harris under the bus. Now, as you watch this, remember, Kamala Harris's biggest task has been to craft herself as the change candidate and distance herself.
Hey, I'm going to stop right there because we already went over that disaster days ago, okay? So listen, at the end of the day, pay attention to how every time Kabami Harris or Tim Walz are criticized or they get caught up with a question they can't really answer to adequate accuracy, then they go to talking about Trump. I find it interesting because Trump hasn't been in office since 2020. Okay, Trump hasn't been in office since 2020. Kabami's been there, her and Biden. What have they done besides make a mess of things? Okay, please pay attention. Now, first of all, Dallas Lieber said she is terrible at public speaking. Well, absolutely she is, beloved. Absolutely she is. All right, and so with that all being said, listen, if y'all didn't see that 60-minute interview, I'm going to play a portion of it. Okay, I'm going to play a portion of it. Now, I'm going to put an overlay on the screen because I don't want to get in trouble with ScrewTube because they do not let you play 60 minutes. Okay, they will stop the video. So I'm going to play the audio, but I'm going to put Kabami on the screen. I want you all to hear how this all went down because she clearly crashed out as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so let's get into it. Madam Vice President, but the question was, you see how he's not allowing her to deflect? Okay, he's holding her to the fire, okay? He's holding her feet to the fire. He's not allowing her to just skedaddle her way out of things, okay, when he's asking these questions. Reggie said, what was that the question? I have questions. But let's continue because I absolutely love this world here. I am so done with him. Okay. Oh my goodness. This is all so crazy, but hold on. Listen to her answer. When he says, how are you going to get it? She's not a capitalist. She's a Marxist, just like her father. But let's continue. Something right there. You know, one of the things about her that I thought was favorable is the fact that she was for Medicare for all, because there are a lot of people that need Medicare. There are a lot of people with disabilities. There are a lot of elders who need Medicare and all of that. But now she's not even for it. So, girl, what do you have to offer anybody besides cackling like a whole hyena and then word salad? We have cut. I want you all to pay attention. Now, she just tried to blame this bullcrap on Trump, but he told her the numbers have quadrupled under her watch. Okay? Take accountability. That's what I would like to see her do. Take accountability. Stop pointing the finger. Okay? Stop pointing the finger. And then also in that clip that I showed previously with Tim Walz, when he said, you know, he started talking about Trump, and then when he was asked a question, he immediately started blaming Trump because he didn't want to blame who was really responsible, which is Kabami and Biden. And then, excuse me, and then he said, we don't need to demonize people. We don't need to, you know, go in, basically demonize people or whatever, however he phrased it. But, sir, that's literally what you just did. These two are hilarious, but let's continue. All right, so y'all heard that so far. So we'll go back to hear what Tim Walz had to say momentarily. He said that he was going to go there and do the interview initially, and then he backed out. I guess he didn't want to answer the tough questions either. I find it all nefarious, you guys. So with that all been said, here's the thing. You know, I don't really trust Kabami or Trump, but what I do know and what I do go by is what people say and what they do. Okay, that's what I go by. What I've seen you do and what I've heard you say. Now, Kabami is confusing to me because she says one thing and then does another. Okay, and then she seems almost as if she can answer the questions as to why she's changed her stance on things. But so let's take a pause for the cause and go to this interview that she did with The View. Okay, because she blamed the FEMA failure, to help Hurricane Helene victims. She blamed that on Donald Trump. Now, I find that all interesting because Trump's not even in office. You know what really gets under my skin is the fact that Biden and Kabami, they don't want to take accountability for anything. Everything is Trump's fault. If Trump is not in the White House, how is he to blame for everything? Is he still running stuff? Does he have that much power? I mean, make it all make sense. Make it all make sense. And everything that people say against the Democrats, Kabami or Biden, specifically, is a conspiracy theory. Just want you all to pay attention. Okay? So I'm going to share my screen so you all can see this. Likes up, everyone, please. Don't forget to like and share. Remember, it's absolutely free, doesn't cost you a thing. Now I'm going to put up an overlay. Okay, here we go.
Kamala, and I'm calling you Kamala because for all of those who are mispronouncing it, I want you all to know how to say it. But let's talk about something you would do different from Donald Trump. Right now, there is a monster storm barreling towards my state of Florida, a place that's still reeling from Hurricane Helene. Trump is lying, claiming that the Biden administration is intentionally withholding aid from the areas where Republicans live, and that FEMA funds are being redirected to migrants. Ironically, that is something he did in 2019. What do you think the effect of these lies are, and why is he doing this?
It's profound, and it is the height of irresponsibility and, frankly, callousness. So lives are literally at stake right now. I traveled to Georgia and to North Carolina after Hurricane Helene. In Georgia, I met a woman who just days earlier, her husband was killed in their home by a fallen tree. Days later, I met with her and her daughter. You can imagine the pain, the shock that they are still in about what they experienced, what they witnessed. I mean, we're talking about real human beings and their lives and them losing everything. Everything. This woman lost her husband, her child lost her father. People are losing their home with no hope of ever being able to reconstruct or return. And the idea that somebody would be playing political games for the sake of himself, but this is so consistent about Donald Trump. He puts himself before the needs of others. I fear that he really lacks empathy on a very basic level to care about the suffering of other people and then understand the role of a leader is not to beat people down, it's to lift people up.
Absolutely.
Especially in a time of crisis.
So I want you all to pay attention. She loves that question. See, that's what she's good at answering. She's good at answering questions that ask her about what Trump has done or hasn't done. And here's the thing. At the end of the day, whatever happened in 2019, we're talking about what's going on in 2024. And let us not forget that I showed you all the videos of the Puerto Ricans who found a treasure trove of supplies that was allegedly hidden from them, okay, so that it would look like Trump didn't do anything. So I find this all interesting. Okay, I find this all interesting. And here's the thing, too. Kabami is very good at stating the obvious. Tell us something that we all don't know. We know that people are fighting for their lives. We know that people have lost everything. Okay? And then when she talked about the woman whose husband was killed by the tree in their home, and then she goes on to say, she's lost her husband. Her daughter has lost her father. Okay, but what are you going to do about it? Okay, I mean, we know you sat there and spoke to her. That doesn't mean you have empathy and sympathy. That's likely for photo ops or talking points. Okay, please pay attention. This is all Stephen Wood says she keeps using the same line. Yes, she absolutely does. Truth Over Everything says most of the time she was lying. Yes, absolutely. Okay, absolutely. Now, with that all being said, Let's go to this next video. This woman's talking about the hurricane. And she says that her car won't start. Hold on, before I go to that video, hold on. Okay, this woman says, are we misinformed or are y'all misunderstanding? So let's go to this video. But has anyone once in the chat? Mr. Elevation says she's reading a script. Likely so. iSketch says Kabami lost her mind. Okay, listen, have you all heard about the people's cars in Florida? Their electronic cars are not starting. Have you all heard anything about that? Once in the chat. Once in the chat. They say these people are waking up and going outside and their cars are not starting. And these people are supposed to be evacuating and their cars won't start. What's really going on here? This all sounds real sketchy to me, but hold on. Let's go to this next video. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
So now they throwing around the word misinformation. Well, was we misinformed when we heard what we heard directly from her mouth?
And the federal relief and assistance that we have been providing has included FEMA providing $750.
And was we also misinformed when the director of FEMA, Mayorkas, came out and said what he said, or did he misspeak?
We are meeting the immediate needs with the money that we have. We are expecting another hurricane hitting. We do not have the funds. FEMA does not have the funds to make it through the season.
Now, since y'all want to say everything is so misinformation and misinformed, I just have a few questions. That's it.
Thank you.
Is the critical needs payout of $750 only a one-time payout per household, not per person, and you would need to qualify, which also indicates that you may be denied? Just
Thank you.
I have another question. Did FEMA not designate funding of over $1 billion for a legal migrant program called Shelter in Place in 2023 and 2024? Another question that I may be misinformed about. Did FEMA not designate funding of about $685 billion for illegal migrants in an emergency food and shelter program under this administration? I have another question, because we the people, we want to know. We don't want to be misinformed. Did the House and Senate, including Republicans, not pass a continuing appropriation bill, H.R. 9747, which provides more funding, but the disaster fund is still deficient, according to Mayorkas, because of mismanagement and possibly overspending? You know, that's the bill that y'all are running around and saying that the Republicans shot down or didn't pass.
Thank you.
H.R. 9747. Go find it on congress.gov. Wait a minute, I thought of another one, because this may be the one that is misinformation. This is the one. Was there not testimony before the House Budget Committee estimating Americans paying over $150 billion annually to support illegal immigration? No, I got it. It's this one that's misinformed. It's this one. Have they not sent over $64 billion and counting to fund the Ukraine war? Dang, I forgot about this one too. I got a question about this one as well. This one probably is misinformed as well. Did they not send over $17 billion in aid to Israel since last October? And for my last question that I just may be misinformed about, this is the one. I'm misinformed, definitely, with this one. Did she not tweet a couple of days afterwards that she was deeply concerned about the security and well-being of the citizens of Lebanon and pledged a total of $157 million and bringing the support total of $385 million totally? It got to be that one. And if you didn't catch what I said earlier, they're funding Israel and Lebanon, which Israel struck Lebanon. Just think about it. So no, we're not misinformed. Y'all just misunderstanding that $750 was never enough to give to American taxpayer citizens. So you can miss me on that.
And they can miss me on that too, beloved. at the end of the day, now she called them out on all their bullshit. And I want you to pay attention because they're sitting up here acting like everything's a conspiracy theory, everything that paints them in a bad light. Why don't they just accept accountability for the bullshit that they're doing? Okay? Why don't they do that? But everything's always someone else's fault, and they didn't do nothing. And the rest of us are just sitting here telling lies. This is why Hillary said that we should be censored. Okay, it's the Democrats that want to take away freedom of speech. Well, hell, they've honestly already taken it away. That's why we can't say certain things. And Hillary wants to keep it that way. What the hell is $750? Not per person, per household. Okay, think about that. When you've lost everything. And then some people don't even qualify. How do they not? They should be giving it to everybody. I mean, it's only $750 damn dollars. Okay, make it all make sense. I'm sorry. But anyway, let's go to this video where the woman says that she got up and her car wouldn't even start. Lights up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance.
All right, so giving you guys an update on me, it's a fucking shit show already. Like, I'm not even playing with you. So literally out of nowhere, why my car just wouldn't cut on. The battery went completely dead. So I had to get up early this morning. When I tried to take the trash out last night. And something told me not to take the trash out last night. I'm glad that I didn't. But the car stopped me because something was going on last night. I don't know what happened, but I just didn't end up doing it. So I had to call CarMax. They have to come over here. Get a tow guy, jump my car, and I got to take it to CarMax to get the battery replaced. Come to find out, my car isn't the only one doing this. They said roadside assistance is going off the hook right now because a lot of people's cars is breaking down right now. The insurance companies is blowing up and going crazy. Something is happening. And I asked her, I said, wait, is it because of the storm? She said, yes, something about the storm is causing cars to break down. They are piled up right now at CarMax. But I'm about to go take my car up there right now. I'm going to give you guys an update on the weather and what's happening as I go. So just pray for me because what the fuck?
Wow. What's really going on here? Okay, what is really going on? But hold on. Now let's talk about what MTG, aka Annie Get Her Guns, aka Marjorie Taylor Greene. Okay, let's talk about what she said because the Democrats have been going in on her. They went in on her on the Breakfast Club because she seems to think that the Democrats created Hurricane Helene. She says they control the weather. Now they're saying this is a conspiracy theory. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what she says. The Georgia Congresswoman leaned into her conspiratorial side as false claims about Helene run rampant on social media. Okay, so at least 215 people have been killed in Hurricane Helene, a Category 4 storm that tore through Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia last weekend. Thousands remain without power and access to critical necessities as the federal government works to provide relief in the aftermath of the deadliest storm in the mainland United States since Hurricane Katrina. Are they really? Are they really trying to provide relief? Is that what they're doing in the aftermath of this deadly storm? Because the people are saying that they're not getting anything and that people who are trying to help are being halted and threatened to be thrown in jail. Okay, is that too a conspiracy theory? Because we've heard the residents saying these things themselves. So goes on to say, but in the wastelands of social media, some are attempting to use the tragedy as fodder for political conspiracy theories. Yes, they can control the weather, Green said on X Thursday night. It's ridiculous for anyone to lie and say it can't be done. It is ridiculous because it can be done. They've been doing it since 1947. Okay? I told you all this days ago. Now, I'm not saying that they did that for Hurricane Helene, as I also told you days ago, but the point of the matter is that they can absolutely control and manipulate the weather. Okay, so what are they talking about? This is a conspiracy theory. Now, it's unclear who the they are that Green is referring to in the scenario. If one of her posts earlier on Thursday is any indication, she's talking about the Democrats. Now, Green shared a map of the states affected by Helene with an overlay of their political leanings by county. This is a map of hurricane affected areas with an overlay of electoral map by political party. Shows Hurricane Helene devastation could affect the election, she says. Now, if I understand this correctly, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene is suggesting that the Democrats deliberately started Hurricane Helene to destroy Republican voting areas and impact the outcome of the election. Well, if that's what she's saying, that might be a conspiracy theory because I don't think they did that. But what I do find suspicious, as I've already told you, is the large amounts of lithium deposits as well as the high purity quartz that Kabami's husband dug him off. Owns shareholdings in the companies Vanguard and BlackRock, who were trying to obtain permits to go and mine there for those resources. Okay, that's what I find suspicious. But let's continue. Now, in case you missed middle school science class, hurricanes are large, powerful storms formed over warm tropical waters when evaporation rises into the atmosphere, condensing into storm systems and creating a low pressure zone that wind rushes to. So, as water continues to evaporate from the ocean surface, the cycle can create a large spinning vortex of powerful rains and strong winds blown as a tropical cyclone. And if this phenomenon forms in the Atlantic and becomes powerful enough, it is referred to as a hurricane. Hurricanes can be incredibly devastating, but they are not man-made, not a man-made phenomenon or something that can be plausibly controlled through human intervention. I find that all interesting because I'm about to show you something in a second. Now, according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, which conducted research on various ways to divert or dispel tropical cyclones in the 1960s, potential methods fall short of the mark because they fail to appreciate the size and power of tropical cyclones. In the wake of Hurricane Helene's destruction, there has been a large-scale federal and state-level mobilization to provide aid to communities affected by the storm. The effort has been bipartisan and widely lauded by the governors of affected states. Magaland, however, has rushed to politicize the tragedy in service of former President Donald Trump's campaign. Earlier this week, Trump baselessly claimed that the federal government and the Democrat governor of North Carolina are going out of their way to not help people in Republican areas ahead of a visit to disaster zone in Valdosta, Georgia. Now, I wouldn't say that they're not trying to help Republican areas. I would just think that, like I told you, what sounds suspicious to me. Okay. So anyway, Sandy Hook conspiracy theorist Alex Jones, who has claimed the government has weather weapons that can engineer floods, tornadoes, and hurricanes, falsely asserted on Thursday that Biden was ordered to stand down of over 1,000 military helicopter crews in the South. The hurricane conveniently destroyed the reddest areas in 4 southern states, so the votes cannot be cast by Trump voters in the upcoming election. This is what Alex Jones says. Now the Democrats don't want the rural areas of the state brought back online to ensure the blue cities can steal it again, Jones says. Other conspiracy theories have circulated on TikTok, with some users claiming that the hurricane was intentionally engineered to level out the area in order to bolster lithium mining operations. I'm sorry, say what? So that's a conspiracy theory too? Okay, they say, let's be clear. Hurricane Helene was a weather-modified storm to displace the residents of western North Carolina, so a land grab can take place, one video said, and it has over 100,000 views. Well, I absolutely believe that. I find that to be absolutely plausible. I would not be surprised. Now, national disasters are traumatic events that often force mankind to reckon how, despite centuries of technological advance and societal development, we are often powerless in the face of nature. We are the perfect breeding ground for the conspiracies that attempt to ascribe a human cause to a inhuman tragedy, and Helene is by no means the first instance. Okay, so with that all being said, listen. I don't agree with 100% that Marjorie Taylor Greene with what she said, and about them targeting the Republicans and all of that to hamper or hinder the election. But I absolutely do think that it's very suspicious about the areas where the lithium and high purity quartz are. Okay, that's just what I think. But hold on, because they're acting as though the government cannot and has not been manipulating the weather. Okay, this is what they're acting like, and I find that all so interesting because let's just go to some receipts. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, here we go. Now, this is a report from C-SPAN. I'm not sure when this report was done, but they say the U.S. government has created weather tampering techniques so that millions of Americans will starve. Well, I'm not going to say that for various reasons, but I want y'all to pay attention because this is what was on the news. Okay?
Sure. Another question on the in an interview with the Los Angeles Times on April 21st, you said that you told the Associated Press that the American government has created weather tampering techniques so that the New World Order will be able to starve millions of Americans and to control the rest. Would you explain what you were trying to say?
Well, what I was trying to say is exactly what I said. There is weather control techniques. We have a complete package on that, which I did not bring, but I certainly will see to it that it is brought in for the record. Number one, the entire patents on the equipment. Number two, Senator Claiborne Pell's complete statement and story of his own that not only does it exist, that we even utilize it as far back as the Vietnam War. You might want to touch base
That's
with
all right,
Senator
but
Pell.
I just want to repeat before we turn to
So yes,
Yeah,
but we
you're
do
saying
have all
the
that
government-
information.
You're saying the government has created weather tampering techniques so that the, quote, New World Order will be able to starve millions of Americans.
Worldwide.
Millions of Americans and to control the rest.
Yes, sir. And that's my belief. As bizarre as that sounds, if somebody had told me that equipment even existed 10 years ago, I would have thought they were nuts, sir. And at this point in time, we have all the documents to prove it. And if you think that 85 tornadoes takes place in the middle of our growing area by simultaneous accident, I'm sorry. With the equipment that's already set up internationally, and as bizarre as that is, it is proven and documented. We will supply you with those documents. As bizarre as that is, I would say that weather wars, and this is quoting actually Senator Claiborne Pell himself, that they are the greatest weapon ever created in the world, and that's the senator's own statement. So yes, I do stand on that.
Thank you, Mr. Fletcher. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so he stood on that. He stood on that, and I want you all to pay attention because watch this. He mentioned 85 tornadoes. Okay, he said, you think that's just going to happen out of the blue? But let me just show you all something because I already told you this, but I just thought I'd show the receipts for anyone who had questions, even though you could have easily Googled it yourselves. Y'all see this? Now I want you to pay attention. I told you all April the 3rd of 1974. Okay, super tornado outbreak. Now, he said 85 tornadoes. Okay, but let's talk about how many was there in 1974. Now, you all may not be able to see this. You can Google it, like I said. The human toll of the outbreak can never be fully accounted for, but some statistics related to the outbreak help present an idea of its significance. Now, pay attention. He said 84 tornadoes. Okay. Now, in this case, there was 148 confirmed tornadoes in the United States and Canada, 30 F4 and F5 tornadoes. The tornado path length of all tornadoes in the outbreak was 2,598 miles. 335 direct fatalities, over 6,000 injured, 13 states plus an F3 in Ontario. Okay? So I just want you all to pay attention. Now, how do you think that happened? By happenstance? Conspiracy theories? This is all crazy. This is all absolutely crazy. Okay, so please pay attention. Please pay attention. But hold on, because watch this. Now, this is former President Barack Obama. And yes, I said Obama. Now, I want y'all to hear what he has to say.
You just have to flood a country's public square with enough raw sewage. You just have to raise enough questions, spread enough dirt, plant enough conspiracy theorizing that citizens no longer know what to believe. Once they lose trust in their leaders, in mainstream media, in political institutions, in each other, in the possibility of truth, the game's won. You just have to flood a country's public square with enough raw sewage.
So y'all heard that, right? Raise enough questions and spread enough dirt. Flood a country's system with sewage? Mr. Obama, I'm sorry, say what? Y'all heard it. Now, I'm not making this stuff up. Is that too a conspiracy theory? I have questions. But hold on. I want you all to hear this too. The attack on free speech. Let's get into it. And then pay attention to how Barack Obama said spread conspiracy theorizing. Ha! Isn't that interesting?
It is now a matter of public record that under Pompeo's explicit direction, the CIA drew up plans to kidnap and to assassinate me within the Ecuadorian embassy in London, and authorized going after my European colleagues, subjecting us to theft, hacking attacks, and the planting of false information. My wife and my infant son were also targeted. A CIA asset was permanently assigned to track my wife, and instructions were given to obtain DNA from my 6-month-old son's nappy. This is the testimony of more than 30 current and former US intelligence officials speaking to the US press, which has been additionally corroborated by records seized in a prosecution brought against some of the CIA agents involved. The CIA's targeting of myself, my family, and my associates through aggressive extrajudicial and extraterritorial means provides a rare insight into how powerful intelligence organizations engage in transnational repression. Such repressions are not unique. What is unique is that we know so much about this one due to numerous whistleblowers and to judicial investigations in Spain. I want to be totally clear. I am not free today because the system worked. I am free today after years of incarceration because I pled guilty to journalism. I pled guilty to seeking information from a source. I pled guilty to obtaining information from a source. And I pled guilty to informing the public what that information was. I did not plead guilty to anything else. I hope my testimony today can serve to highlight the weaknesses of the existing safeguards and to help those whose cases are less visible but who are equally vulnerable. As I emerge from the dungeon of Belmarsh, the truth now seems less discernible, and I regret how much ground has been lost during that time period, how expressing the truth has been undermined, attacked, weakened, and diminished. I see more impunity, more secrecy, more retaliation for telling the truth, and more self-censorship. It is hard not to draw a line from the US government's prosecution of me, it's crossing the Rubicon by internationally criminalizing journalism, to the chilled climate for freedom of expression that exists now. When I founded WikiLeaks, it was driven by a simple dream, to educate people about
Okay, I'm going to stop right there. At the end of the day, in case you didn't know, for those of you who don't know who that is, that's Julian Assange. Now, he was thrown in prison for years. This is the man who exposed Hillary's nefarious emails. Now, if you have ever seen Hillary's emails, put a 1 in the chat, and you'll know why they put him in prison for exposing them. If you've ever seen her nefarious emails, because I have, put a 1 in the chat. And I want you to pay attention, okay? Because this is what Karl Marx said, all right? And Kamala Harris is a Marxist. She can sit down somewhere. Accuse your enemy of what you are doing while you are doing it to create confusion. You see, that's what the Democrats do. That's what the Democrats do, you see. The Democrats accuse others of doing exactly what they're doing. Haven't I been telling you guys this? Haven't I been shouting it from the mountaintop? Okay, so please pay attention. Everything that they don't want someone to say is supposedly a conspiracy theory. That's all I'm saying. That's conspiracy theory. Y'all heard what Obama said. And now, with that all being said, let's go back to the 60-minute interview so we can hear what Tim Walz had to say. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. And again, I'm going to put an overlay on the screen so I don't have any issues with ScrewTube. Okay, because you're not supposed to be sharing 60 minutes information. Okay, so with that being said, let's get into it. Likes up, everyone. Please do not forget to like and share. It doesn't cost you a thing, okay? It doesn't cost you a thing. Let me just get my overlay real quick. Okay, here we go.
This is the world's first reusable cotton swab. It can remove up to 10 times more earwax. On the ticket.
Now, let me say this, beloveds. Okay? He said it was Tim Walz calling Trump and JD Vance weird that may have landed him on the ticket. It's so basically saying that that's why Kamala chose him as her running mate. But I find that interesting because she's the same one who had so much to say about why Trump chose JD Vance as his running mate. And Miss Asha says, yes, it's Kamala that really agrees with Project 2025. Well, I find it interesting that the people that created Project 2025 have endorsed her and not Trump. What do the people have to say about that? Because I find it also interesting that everybody was going in, all of these Kabami supporters, okay, D.L. Hughley, Steve Harvey, Ricky Smiley, Roland Martin, The Breakfast Club, they were all going in on Trump about Project 2025, but you mean to tell me they didn't even endorse Trump? They endorsed Kabami. Okay, so please make it all make sense.
The story will continue in a moment.
Several months ago, you and Kamala Harris barely knew each other. Now you're running together, vying for the top offices in the land. It's not possible that you agree on everything. What have been some disagreements you've had since you became a team?
Well, she probably disagreed with, she said, Tim, you need to be a little more careful on how you say things, whatever it might be.
Whatever it might be, Walz has been criticized for embellishing or telling outright falsehoods about his military record and about his travels to Asia in the 1980s. In your debate with J.D. Vance, you said, I'm a knucklehead at times. And I think you were referring to the time that you said that you were in Hong Kong during the Tiananmen Square unrest when you were not.
Yeah.
Is that kind of misrepresentation, isn't that more than just being a knucklehead?
I think folks know who I am, and I think they know the difference between someone expressing emotion, telling a story, getting a date wrong rather than a pathological liar like Donald Trump.
But I think it comes down.
Now, why is he bringing up Trump and his pathological lying? Why is he bringing up Trump and his pathological lying? Sir, they're accusing you. You've been accused of lying, okay, and having stolen valor. Why don't you just answer that question and admit that you lied? Okay? Why don't you just admit that you, in fact, lied, sir? Do that. Don't call Trump's name. But see, this is what him and Kabami always do. No accountability whatsoever. Now, I'm not saying Trump's any better because he isn't, because really both candidates get on my nerves going in on each other rather than just speaking about the facts and policies and issues.
Question of whether you can be trusted to tell the truth. Yeah, well, I can. I think I can. I will own up to being a knucklehead at times, but the folks closest to me know that I keep my word.
So him telling a lie about his military experience, that's him being a knucklehead? No, that's him being a liar who lies. Okay? And they need to stop talking about misinformation and disinformation and call it what it is, lies and BS. But let's continue. Okay, Kabami, sit down somewhere. She believes in her soul and heart the American people are ready to turn the page. Well, I'm definitely ready to turn the page away from the Biden administration. Okay, that's what I'm ready to do. All right. Please pay attention. These Democrats are so slick and sly. Okay, I mean, I don't know how our people don't know this by now. Okay, they never take any accountability. Everything's always the Republicans' fault. Everything is always conspiracy theories. They never do anything wrong at all. Okay, they never do anything wrong at all. I find it all very interesting. Support the Arts says that Tim Walz is a righteous man and he's a good man. He's a good man, Savannah. Sit down somewhere and support the arts. I don't have a problem with Tim Walz per se, other than the fact that he's beside Kabami. That's basically it, if I'm being honest. Okay, so now with that all being said, let's go to Governor DeSantis, whom I call Governor DeSatan, because he even went in on Kabami. So let's get into it. Let's get into it. Lillian X said, shut up, Kabami. Reggie said, okay, Savannah. Okay, Franco E says, Trump wanted to focus on the borders. He was called a racist for that by the Democratic Party. Now look at what we are dealing with now. Exactly. Okay. And I'm sorry, but I didn't find anything racist about what he said. He said the people coming across the border, some of them I imagine are good people, but some of them are rapists and murderers. Where's the lie? Have not some of them done exactly that? Where is the lie? So anyway, with that all being said, let's continue. Okay? Governor DeSatan. Let's get into it. Now I'm going to put an overlay on here. Here we go. Like stuff, everyone, please. Don't forget to like and share.
Just hearing all that and probably knew it already. Joins us live from the Emergency Management Headquarters in Tallahassee. Governor, you've been there quite often. What's the greatest challenge with Milton as opposed to Helene or others you've had to deal with over the last 7 years?
Well, I think as Janice mentioned, this is tracking very close to that Tampa Bay area. I would note that anyone on the Western Peninsula of Florida, just wherever that eye wall is scheduled to go across now on these cones, that can shift. I think right now they have it just south of Tampa Bay in Manatee County. It could shift further north and it could shift further south in terms of having the most immediate impacts. But that Tampa Bay area is very low lying. Pinellas County, where I grew up, is surrounded by water. It's a peninsula. It is just vulnerable to storm surge generally. This is a storm that's going to be hitting sometime Wednesday night, early Thursday morning. The water is already going to be high with the tide. So that's a huge, huge concern. Now, it had gotten up to 180 mile an hour when it was going towards the Yucatan Peninsula and the Gulf of Mexico. That is an incredibly powerful storm. It has weakened since then. It may strengthen today. The forecasts are that it will make landfall weaker than it is today. Let's pray that that's the case. The surge is going to be a big enough problem. And hopefully the winds are manageable. Most of the buildings in Florida are going to be able to handle a Category 3 storm. So there's a lot going on. And oh, by the way, we just had a Category 4 storm impact a lot of people up the west coast of Florida. One of the issues that we saw in places like the Pinellas County beaches and Manatee County beaches was there was a lot of debris, and these local governments have to pick it up. They have contractors that do it, but it wasn't being done fast enough. So I did this weekend. I took all of our state agencies, any truck we had anywhere in the state who's involved in normal missions, we diverted it over to those barrier islands. We're doing a 24/7 debris mission. So we've been able in 48 hours with our state assets be able to do as much debris removal as any of the contractors who've been doing this for almost 2 weeks.
Wow.
We actually had to pry open one of the landfills in Pinellas County because it wasn't operating 24/7 as my executive order did. But
Okay, I'm going to stop right there. That was the wrong video. Okay, likes up, everyone, please like and share. But glad to be getting the information about Hurricane Milton. Okay, because this is going to be disastrous according to the reports thus far. So let's get into it. I'm going to share the screen again.
Is once again bracing for another massive storm. Hurricane Milton is currently a Category 5 hurricane barreling across the Gulf of Mexico, right towards the Florida Peninsula on the east coast of Florida. And hurricane warnings have been issued for the entire Tampa area. Evacuations have been issued. It has a population of 3.3 million people, along with neighboring metros of Fort Myers, Cape Coral, Sarasota, even inland Orlando, where another 3 million people live. This is a fast evolving, extremely dangerous situation. They're especially worried about swells of up to 20 feet, but the state of Florida, as usual, is well prepared. Now, you can't say the same about Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. Now, they have been MIA in Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, but especially in North Carolina. Now, today, Kamala tried to insinuate that Governor DeSantis does not want federal help. Well, Governor DeSantis said he didn't even know she called. That is according to Secretary of Homeland Security Mayorkas. FEMA, he's saying they're bankrupt. According to FEMA's own website, over $1 billion went to Harris, Biden, unvetted illegal immigrants. And this week, she is focused on fawning interviews, as I've been telling you, with the Call Me Daddy podcast, Stephen Colbert, Howard Stern, and the ladies of The View, instead of being in North Carolina, which she and Joe abandoned. It is the worst hurricane to hit the Southeast since Katrina, and they have been missing in action. They haven't lifted a finger to help. And now suddenly she's pretending to care and says this. Take a look.
NBC is reporting Governor DeSantis is ignoring your calls on hurricanes, resources, and help. How does that hurt the situation here?
You know, moments of crisis, if nothing else, should really be the moment that anyone who calls themselves a leader says they're going to put politics aside and put the people first. People are in desperate need of support right now, and playing political games at this moment in these crisis situations, these are the height of emergency situations, is just utterly irresponsible, and it is selfish, and it is about political gamesmanship instead of doing the job that you took an oath to do, which is to put the people first.
Make no mistake, Hurricane Helene is Kamala's Katrina. Joining us now, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is with us on the latest on preparation. All right. I saw the statement from your office. Number one, you did not hear about a call from Kamala. You would have taken the call, you said. I had you on my radio and TV show before Helene hit. You told me, and I had Governor Kemp on, and he told me, in your case, you had 30,000 utility trucks staged to go in right after the hurricane. You had food, water, medicine, supplies ready to go right in behind the hurricane, as usual. I'm assuming you have the same thing for Milton. Am I wrong, Governor?
No, you're right. And Hurricane Helene was a Category 4 storm. It did significant damage to the state of Florida. We've been on this footing now for 2 weeks straight in terms of preparation response. And now we have an even bigger storm that's bearing down, as you pointed out, on a very populated area, potentially could do even more damage. And we've been laser focused on leveraging all resources available, including from the federal government. And I've been in touch with both FEMA and the president, as well as marshaling all our state agencies and working to support our local communities And so for Kamala Harris to try to say that my sole focus on the people of Florida is somehow selfish is delusional. She has no role in this. In fact, she's been vice president for 3.5 years. I've dealt with a number of storms under this administration. She has never contributed anything to any of these efforts. And so what I think is selfish
Has she ever
is her
called
trying to
before?
blunder into this. No. And here's
Has
the
she ever
thing.
called before?
She has no role. No, she has no role in this process. I'm in contact with the president of the United States. I'm in contact with FEMA director. I'm obviously managing all our state agencies. We're supporting all our local government. And I will say this, I've had storms under both President Trump and President Biden, and I've worked well with both of them. She's the first one who's trying to politicize the storm, and she's doing that just because of her campaign. She's trying to get some type of an edge. She knows she's doing poorly, and so she's playing these political games. I don't have time for political games. I've got peoples whose lives are on the line. I've got peoples whose homes and their possessions are on the line, and we are focused 100% on that mission. I'm not worried about playing her political games. And so she is being selfish by trying to blunder into this when we're working just fine.
You know, you had properly staged. You are ready for Milton. You have all the utility trucks. You have food. You have water. You have supplies, all staged, all ready to come in right behind the hurricane, as you always do. Governor Kemp, same thing. Governor McMaster, same thing. They have been missing in action. It took FEMA nearly an entire week to get to the people in North Carolina, and we still don't know the death count in North Carolina. It is the worst, to me, response ever in the history of hurricanes in this country, Governor. And for her to be going on a Stern, Colbert, The View, Call Me Daddy, instead of being in North Carolina is unconscionable.
Well, I'll tell you this, Sean. We're going to handle this incoming storm. It is right now much more powerful than what Helene was. And we'll see. They say it's going to weaken before it hits, but we can't assume that. So this has the potential to be one of the most damaging storms in the history of our country. And can we not just focus on the livelihoods and the well-being of the people? Why is she trying to politicize this? Why is she putting her campaign ahead of the well-being of the people of Florida? We're laser focused on their well-being. This is going to be a massive effort. There's going to be things we're going to have to respond to that we've probably never had to respond in this kind in the history of our state. And we're going to do it. And we're going to keep our eye on the ball. And we're not going to let her nonsense distract us from the task at hand.
Governor, as a fellow Floridian, if there's anything I can do to help you, if you need these airways, you need my radio show, we are on board for anything you need. I am urging people to go to SamaritansPurse.org. They're doing some really good work in all of these southern states. And we appreciate you being on, Governor. We're praying for our state tonight. Thank you.
Okay, so with that all being said, how come none of the media outlets are reporting? How come none of the media outlets are reporting that Trump supposedly gave $25 million for Hurricane Helene and started a GoFundMe? How come they're not saying that? I just have several questions. Okay, please pay attention. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. So one's in the chat. Hold on. Support the Arts says not everyone should or is meant to have children. Those decisions should be respected. Well, here's the thing. If you're talking about abortion and women's reproductive rights, which Kabami seems to be running her entire platform on, let me remind you that her husband, Doug Emhoff, has been accused of putting hands on the nanny that he impregnated. And she alleges that she had a miscarriage. Okay, so let's not act like Kabami is so concerned about reproductive health, because if she were, would she really be with a man who's accused of doing such? I have questions. But also, as it pertains to that, Bobo says, I didn't know that, Queen. Oh, yes, absolutely, beloved. And so with that all being said, here's the thing. If people don't want to have children, then don't get pregnant. Okay? And I'm not talking about people who are assaulted or raped. I'm not talking about them. Okay? But at the end of the day, for the rest of them, if you don't want to have children, just don't get pregnant. Stop using abortions as birth control. All right? I'm sorry. You can prepare yourself for these things, okay? You can use protection. That's what you can do. And I don't agree with abortion. I'm pro-life, okay? I'm pro-life. So please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, let me go to this TikTok video that this young man posted, and he seems to be very furious with Kabami. Okay, likes up, everyone, please like and share. Kabami's a whole hypocrite, is all I'm saying. She's so concerned about women's rights, but your husband's accused of putting hands on someone? Yeah, make it all make sense, Kabami.
Black people keep talking about Project 2025, but they refuse to listen to Trump talk about the Platinum Plan. Trump has never produced or never promoted Project 2025. Trump never mentioned Project 2025 unless he was denying it. But Trump did mention the Platinum Plan, and you got black people who refuse to look up the Platinum Plan to hear what he had to say about it, a plan exclusively for black people in black communities. While Kamala, on the other hand, is saying, I'm not doing nothing only for black people. No, what works for black people will work for all of America. But yet she gave the Asians a hate bill worth $50 billion. Come on now, talk about it. So Trump got something exclusively for black people, and black people refuse to listen to it. And he only did it once. He's not pandering. He's not going to pander to black people. You know why? Because he don't need your vote. So stop arguing with them, y'all. Trump don't need their vote anyway. And for us that's actually supporting them and we going to vote for them, it's just making it easier for them. So if they don't want to vote for Trump, they want to keep voting for the Democrats like they've been doing, and Democrats keep lying to them that they've been doing, right? Then let that keep happening. Don't get mad. Trump's racist. Trump doesn't care about us. We don't care about that, bro. We're not emotional. We don't care about him either. We care about what he's going to do when he get in office. We ain't trying to have
That's right.
that emotional crybaby stuff that the church and the liberals been teaching you. Take it to bed with you.
Okay, no lies detected. At the end of the day, no lies detected. Okay. Now, with that all being said, I want you all to hear something. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. This is all so nefarious at the end of the day. Okay. Now, someone posted this to Twitter or X, and I absolutely agree with it. Hold on. I'm going to cue this real quick. Now, I can't show this on the screen because of copyright issues, but I want you all to hear this. This is a scene from the late, great John Amos as he played the older version of Kunta Kinte in Roots. And they put on the caption, black people still voting for the Democrats in 2024 be like. Hold on, I'm sorry, I forgot to turn up the volume.
Don't sit Toby way. Toby, be good for your hand, boss. Good for your hand, master. It's all right. It's all right. You be good for your hand. You can stay. Nah, Toby, stay. Toby, stay. Toby, be good now. Toby, be real good.
Okay, at the end of the day, that's y'all. Support the arts, that's you. All right? I be good, massa. Toby be real good. That's you guys. Because here's the thing. Let us not forget that the Democrats said years ago, okay, that they would have us, meaning black folk, voting for the Democrats for the next 200 years. Okay? For the next 200 years. Isn't that what Lyndon B. Johnson said? I want you all to pay attention, okay? Because I find it absolutely to be looking like it's true, okay? I mean, for some reason, many black people seem like they have an allegiance to the Democrats who've not done anything for you significantly. As a matter of fact, they're the ones who resurrected the Klan. I'm sorry, let the truth be told. At least we see the other side and know what they're doing, and we see when they're coming. As Malcolm said, the Democrats, the liberals, they're the sly foxes. You see how they don't take any accountability ever for the nefarious things they do? Everything's blamed on somebody else. Okay? When in fact, as I told you, I honestly believe that both parties want the same end result. They just have different ways of going about it. Okay? And so with that all being said, now let's talk about Mayor Eric Oh, no, no, no. Hold on. Before we get into Mayor Eric Adams, let's talk about this. Because remember how I told you guys that the Heritage Foundation endorsed Kabami? So now they're trying to say this is misinformation? Really? Okay, so let's talk about it. Because I absolutely cannot with these liars who lie. So nobody from the Heritage Foundation endorsed Kabami? Career politician Mickey Edwards' endorsement of Kamala Harris, he endorsed her, has drawn strong backlash on social media and one of the latest examples of a Republican going against the grain, and it stirred up a nest of misinformation online. Edwards is a lifelong conservative, a longtime Oklahoma legislator, and a founding trustee of the Heritage Foundation. Okay. This is the thing. He's a founding trustee. But here's what they try to say. I want y'all to pay attention because they say, oh, he hasn't been involved with the group since the 70s. Now, y'all can believe that if you want to. Where's their receipts? Where's their proof? You see, here's the things that the liberals do, the Democrats, the left. What they do is they say that things are misinformation, conspiracy theories, disinformation. Okay, all BS is what they say. It's been debunked, is what they tell us. But where's the proof? Where's the proof? Because you can't just tell me that this man who's the founding trustee, you cannot just tell me and expect me to believe that he hasn't had anything to do with it since the 70s. But here's the question. If it's been around since the 70s, why are they acting like Trump is the one who started it? Because didn't I tell you guys that it had been around at least since Ronald Reagan was in office? Now, at the end of the day, and that's Project 2025 is my point. Now, so that being said, the trustee, he hasn't had anything to do with them since the 1970s. And he's a founding member. Please make it all make sense. They just want everything to look like a bunch of lies and BS. And like all of these things that are going against Kabami are not what they are, which is the truth, in my opinion. Okay, please pay attention. Now let's talk about Mayor Eric Adams, because once again, he's in the news. New York Mayor Eric Adams under pressure as top aide is fired after potentially turning on City Hall in a federal probe. So she's snitching to the feds. Okay, please pay attention. Eric Adams has fired his intermediary with the Turkish government amid claims that she has agreed to tell prosecutors about the bribes that she allegedly arranged for him. Now, the shockwaves from the FBI indictment against the New York mayor claimed more victims on Monday as Rana Abasava was fired and Director of Asian Affairs Winnie Greco resigned from City Hall. Abasava, the mayor's former director of protocol for international affairs, has been on leave since the FBI raided her home in November of last year. She's accused in the indictment of coordinating many of the illegal campaign contributions and improper personal travel benefits that the mayor allegedly received in return for giving planning favors to Turkish developers. And her departure marks an ominous development for her longtime boss as he prepares to return to court on November the 1st. Now, this is the woman right here, Rana Abasava, who was fired for cooperating with the feds, allegedly. That's her right there. Now, that being said, likes up, everyone. Please don't forget to like and share. Thank you. Now, her work liaising with Turkey stretches back before Adams' election as city mayor in 2022 to his years as borough president of Brooklyn. The indictment claims that during her interview with the FBI after the raid on her home, she excused herself to the bathroom and while there deleted the encrypted messaging applications that she used to communicate with Adams, the promoter and the Turkish official, the airline's manager, and some others. So she was getting rid of the evidence on herself. Okay, please pay attention, or trying to at least. Now, the mayor placed her on a leave with sources close to him claiming she had acted improperly and asking other staffers to delete text messages. Now, as we repeatedly said, we recently learned of an individual who acted improperly, which we promptly reported to investigators. That's what a spokesperson said at the time. The most important thing to remember is that the mayor has not been accused of any wrongdoing. That changed in dramatic fashion on September the 25th when Adams was indicted on federal charges of bribery, fraud, and soliciting foreign campaign donations. Now, Adams is charged with conspiracy to commit wire fraud, federal program bribery, and receiving campaign contributions from foreign nationals. He's also accused of defrauding New York City taxpayers of $10 million through allegedly fraudulent campaign funds. He pleaded not guilty at his arraignment and claimed that he has done nothing wrong after becoming the first mayor in the city's history to face criminal charges while in office. So, with that all being said, the indictment claims that Abasava spent years arranging illegal foreign straw donations to the Adams campaign, along with travel upgrades for the mayor, his family, and associates. But Abasava's enforced departure came days after the Department of Justice forced to release evidence which the mayor's attorneys claim discredits her as a witness. Prosecutors are required to disclose and hand to the defense any Brady evidence they discover, which is favorable to a defendant's case. Okay, defense attorney Alex Spiro linked the disclosure of Brady evidence on Friday to Abasava's dismissal on Monday, saying these prosecutors finally, after much delay and misdirection, have admitted they were hiding Brady material about the key witness in the case that proves Mayor Adams is innocent. This is what Spiro said. But the exodus continued to gather pace with the resignation of Adams' longtime confidant, Winnie Greco. She served as the mayor's director of Asian affairs and saw her home raided in February by FBI agents investigating claims that she demanded bribes, including asking a campaign volunteer to renovate her kitchen in exchange for a job in the administration. Now, Greco was a constant figure at Adams' side and accompanied him and his son on a 2017 trip to France, Turkey, Sri Lanka, and China. This is all documented in court filings. Late that year, she joined him on a trip to Beijing via Turkey and Nepal on tickets worth more than $16,000. According to the indictment, Adams's relationship with Turkish officials saw him accept a number of luxurious gifts, including stays in lavish Istanbul hotels. Adams allegedly pressured the FDNY, to open a Turkish government-owned high-rise in Manhattan in exchange for luxury travel benefits, despite the building failing safety inspections. Now, so with that all being said, this is all getting real messy. Okay, who's lying and who's telling the truth? I just have a whole lot of questions at the end of the day. And of course, these people are going to turn around and snitch and throw Mayor Adams under the bus. And I'm not saying they shouldn't. But of course, they're going to do that when their homes have been raided and they've been accused of committing crimes themselves. Okay? So with that all being said, everyone please get the likes up. Okay, like and share. I'm about to be out of here. Listen, at the end of the day, as I always say, people have to do what's best for you. Okay? Whichever candidate is supporting your best interests, no matter who it may be, well, that's who you should vote for, in my opinion. Now, truth over everything says Senator Joe Biden told black people that Republican policies would put all black people back in chains. Yeah, he did say that. But his and Kabami's policies have put black people and everyone else in economic chains. Absolutely. No lies detected. Okay? Absolutely no lies detected. And as far as Kabami's economic plan, I don't have any faith in that. I don't have any faith in it at all. She's talking about she's going to stop price gouging of grocery stores. Okay, well, right now, what's going on her watch, her and Biden's watch? The prices are sky high at the end of the day. Eggs were just $1,000 months ago. Of course, I'm embellishing and exaggerating, but you all know what I'm saying. So, if we're being honest here, the economy was better under Trump. That's just a fact. That's not my opinion. That's an actual fact. Okay? So I find it interesting that they want to sit here and act like all of this Everything being said is Trump's fault and they didn't do anything wrong. Now, at least if they're going to blame Trump, at least blame yourselves for some of this BS. You've been in office 3.5 years. At least take some of the accountability, the culpability. But no, they won't do that. Everything is Trump's fault, even though he hasn't been in office since 2020. Okay, Lisa 11 says, if the building was not approved for opening, he should not be compromising it. It's not just his job, but the safety of human life. Absolutely, Lisa 11. Absolutely. But beloved, these politicians, so many of them are corrupt. So many of them do shady, underhanded things, take bribes, tell lies. They just do all sorts of things. Okay. Misappropriate funds, divert funds. This is what they all, well, not they all, but this is what many of them do. Okay. This is what many of them do. So at the end of the day, it just looks to me like this whole country is going to hell in a handbasket because whether Trump gets in office or Kabami gets in office, I just think it's going to be a disaster. Okay? I just think it's going to be a disaster at the end of the day, but it's going to be an even bigger disaster if she's in there, as far as I'm concerned. She will says it's apparent these people are using race to divide people, but they don't care about anything but green. This is all true. And see, I told you all that. That's their strategy, divide and conquer. That's the best way to keep us bickering amongst ourselves so we're not looking at the real problem, which is them. So we're not pointing the finger of blame at the real people who are causing all of the havoc. And that is the global elite who run everything. Okay? They're the ones in charge. They're the ones in charge. Luna says, now that is part I found crazy too. Queen Trump is not even in office. Exactly. But everything's Trump's fault all of a sudden. Like, this is real crazy. So anyway, with that all been said, everyone please like and share, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Okay, be sure to click the notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. For those of you who follow the spiritual channel, I'm going to be uploading something for you as soon as I get off of here. Now, hold on. Andrea says, when will politicians that look like me realize that they can't do what the other politicians do? That's the same question I have, beloved. That's exactly what I said. Because Mayor Adams is not the only one who's done this type of stuff. Okay? He's not the only one. Please pay attention. Truth Over Everything says they're price gouging in the area affected by the hurricane. What are they not doing? What are they not doing something about? Exactly. Okay? I have questions. Now, if they want to stop price gouging, do it now. Let's not wait until November. Let us not wait. Okay? And so anyway, honey, this is all a disaster. This is all a disaster. Luna says, Dr. Shiva says they all go to the same places. Yeah, they do. They absolutely do. Okay? He calls them the swarm. And we need to stop being fooled by these people. And I want you all to pay attention to something. You all heard what Barack Obama said about how the people won't know what to believe. Now, isn't that what I told you? They have this AI technology. We could absolutely find some real, valid, legitimate receipts on something nefarious that they have done or are planning to do. And what they'll do is they'll say it's a deep fake. It's AI. Okay? AI is dangerous as far as I'm concerned because you can craft all sorts of things and paint all kinds of narratives and tell all kinds of lies, and nobody would be the wiser. Okay? So please pay attention. Support the Art said, when will you be convinced that Trump is worse than Kamala? I'll be convinced that he's worse than Kamala when maybe she does something for people who look like me, like he did. Then maybe. But until then, I'm sorry. It's a no for me. Okay? It's a no for me. All right? Now I'm not going to do anything specifically for Black people or African Americans. No. Let's be very clear. All right? I keep hearing that replaying over and over in my head. Okay? I keep hearing that replay over and over and over in my head. Okay? I'm sorry. Platinum Plan, anyone? First Step Act, anyone? Yeah, that's what I'll say to that. Support the arts. I won't be convinced, is what I'm telling you. I won't be convinced. And she ain't Black. And that's a problem I have with her, too, for lying. Okay, for lying to get votes and for saying things that she just thinks we all want to hear to get in the office. So, no, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Okay? You have your opinion, beloved, and I have mine. Now, above all, that drama says support Ben Darts. Stop playing with us, ma'am. Her and she. Well, thanks for using their pronouns. So with that all been said, listen, each one teach one. That's how we're going to thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Until next time, beloveds, peace.
Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done.